This is Jeffrey Sitcov with Doors of Change, and you're watching the Breaking Down Show.
Yeah, the Break It Down Show, we're live and on location in lovely San Diego area, and Pacific Ocean's right out the window right there behind Jeffrey's head, and I appreciate you coming in. I love, I love charity. I love pushing folks hard to, like if you're in your life, if you've sort of sorted things out, it's time to start to reach out and help each other out. One of the things, we often get tied up in like the federal government, what we're going to do, Jeffrey, like, oh, what are we going to do? But oftentimes, if we just look to our neighbor left and right and we say, hey, what can we do right here locally, and find folks in need, gosh, there's plenty of need out there. And you guys have done something remarkable here in San Diego County. So I wanted to talk about what you folks are doing. And look, these are folks they're young people. And oftentimes, look, I was a bit of a free range kid, and it was dangerous to go home. And so I grew up, look, my parents did the best job. My mom was great. But you also, when you're out of the house, you come up with your own kooky ideas about what being an adult is. Then you become an adult and you're like, oh man, I actually have to slow down a little bit and actually become an adult, because you get wired the wrong way a little bit. And so let's talk about what you guys do and talk about these young kids that you try to help out.
Doors of Change is a 501c3 nonprofit organization who for the past 22 years has helped homeless youth, the ages 17 to 25, we call them the transitional age youth, off the streets into housing and self-sufficiency. And these kids are homeless not by choice. They're homeless because if 40% of them are LGBTQ+, and they tell their parents they're gay and they kick them on the streets today in 2024, or they come from such dysfunctional families, their parents are drug addicts, their parents are alcoholics, they're abusive, sexually abusive, physically abusive, verbally abusive, so the kids can't live at home anymore and they have to leave. And it's actually safer for them to be on the streets than in their dysfunctional families' houses.
This is here in California. We're not talking about somewhere where we might expect behavior like this. Is California.
No, this is national.
Okay.
There's 4.2 million homeless youth between the ages 17 and 25 in America today, and it's disgusting. Yeah. And all we find is that they don't trust anybody because they have been taken advantage of by every adult that they've met. And so they don't know who to trust. Right. And because of that, they don't know how to get off the streets. So our goal is to gain trust very quickly, which we've done, and to be able to actually get them the resources they need to get all the mental health assistance that they need, to get insurance, to get all different things that they need to get in housing. And we've helped over 2,800 kids get off the streets into safe housing since 2001.
So what's the first step? Like, what do they need? I mean, first off, you have to build trust. I imagine that's the first step. Who do they trust?
They don't trust anybody. For many years, we had an award-winning music and art program, in which we saw over 8,000 kids in that program. We gave them free art lessons, free music lessons, and they developed trust very quickly because they saw that we were teaching them for free, we were really giving them food, giving them clothes, and we didn't want anything in return other than to help them. And so they started trusting us very quickly. Well, since COVID, everything has changed. We had to close our program down, and now since COVID, one of the results of it is that the kids are spread out. They're scattered everywhere. Instead of being in one or several places together, they're scattered individually. And so there's really no place in San Diego right now that there's a concentrated enough of the transitional age youth to have a program. But we had to reinvent ourselves because these kids still needed our help. And so what we did is we actually went and developed a brochure, a flyer with UCSD students. And it's colorful, as you can see. And that flyer attracted kids to look at it. And they saw all the different things that we could list to help them. Free computers we give them, free phones, different things that for, free medical services, psychological services, etc. And they started calling us. And the more we helped them, the more they told their friends, and the more kids started calling us. In the last 2 years alone, in San Diego alone, we've helped 688 youth get housing. And these kids, even though we're doing it in San Diego, they're from all over the United States because they're not in Buffalo, Chicago, Philadelphia. It's too cold, for many months of the year. They come out west, they can live outside all year round, and so that's why they come to San Diego.
Yeah. Well, and San Diego is nice to come to. I mean, if you're going to go somewhere and you don't have anything, may as well have nothing here.
Yes.
What inspired this? This is such a big mission, and it must come from somewhere.
I happen to be a physical therapist by profession. I practiced for 18 years. I had a spinal cord injury 23 years ago that I could not do my profession, which I did for many years successfully in my own practice. And I kept, doing a lot of soul searching and saying, stop feeling sorry for myself. What can I do to help others? And physical therapy is a helping profession, and so I wanted to help others. And I just decided that the kids right now are so messed up, they need help and they need to make better choices. They're making the wrong choices. The Columbine shooting happened, Santee shooting happened, the escalation of violence was getting worse and worse and worse. And so I interviewed 100 nonprofits, and one of the times I went on the streets on outreach to see how homeless kids were found and how they handle them. That one experience 22 and a half years ago literally changed my life. And I said at that night on, I've got to help get these kids off the street so they can have a better life for themselves. And that's what motivated it.
You tied in music though, so where does that come from?
Well, music touches the soul. And I brought a blues group in to the shelter that we're working with, and Storefront Shelter at that time. It's the only homeless shelter for kids 12 to 17. And we brought a blues group in that just for one night to help their soul. The kids went crazy. They had such a great time. The next morning, we started the music and art program. It's been going ever since, up until COVID. So that's what started it, because I saw how the kids responded with music and art. And we said, this is helping nurture them. This is helping build trust with them. We've got to do this to help these kids. And it was very successful.
And just like glossing over the fact that when I walk into your house, there are some gigantic names attached to this program.
Yes.
How do you attach to, one of the names is Aretha Franklin, B.B. King.
Yes.
Let's talk about some of the people that have committed to helping you guys do this. And how do you do that?
Well, I happen to be an award-winning photographer, and my photography allowed me to meet Billy Joel. And Billy Joel knew that the vision I had for these homeless kids was a good thing. And he said, I'll sign a keyboard for you. And within 3 months, he was touring with Elton John. And he told Elton John what he was doing. And Elton John said, I'll sign a keyboard for them. The ripple effect of the two of them being involved with us gave credibility that this organization could be trusted. This was a great organization with a good mission. And so many organizations, many musicians came on board, the Rolling Stones, Carlos Santana. This is just some of the musicians that have helped us along the way. Just so people can see, Etta James, B.B. King, Buddy Guy, Steve Winwood, Tony Bennett, the Rolling Stones. Many musicians said, we want to help also. And so they sign memorabilia, and we sell the memorabilia. And you can go to our website, by the way, at doorsofchange.org. Doors is plural. Doorsofchange.org. We've got memorabilia for sale on the website right now. Anything you do, 100% of it goes directly to fund our programs to get homeless youth off the streets and get them the resources that they need to have a better life.
Okay, so I'm typing that message in right now. So give me a second here to type that in. Doorsofchange.org. What events do you have coming up? I'll do that while I type.
Yeah, we also, and so obviously music is a big deal in our organization. We also do concerts because we figured that in order for us to educate the community about the homeless youth issue, you got to get them together. And people love music, so we have concerts. We've been doing concerts now for 22 years. We honored B.B. King at San Diego State in front of 4,000 people. We have concerts every year now. And this next concert we're doing is July 27th, Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Pull it back a little bit, yeah.
Casey and the Sunshine Band. Yeah. And it's just, this is a place you can go and have a great time. And 100% of your ticket price will go to get kids off the streets. 100%. So we're very blessed. Go to doorsofchange.org. We're going to have, tickets are going to be sold as of April this year. It's July 27th at UCSD, the Epstein Family Amphitheater. It's a beautiful new amphitheater on campus. But the most important thing is you'll be able to have a great music. You're going to actually listen to one of the homeless kids speak, which is powerful. And 100% of your proceeds of your ticket sale will go to get kids off the streets.
Perfect. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to focus and run the machine and fly the ship. It gets a little complicated around here. That's great, man. Casey and the Sunshine Band. When you look, just pull away from the kids for a second. As you're doing this, you're like, all right, now I know Billy Joel, the Queen of Soul. At some point, you have to look around and be like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like because I get to do this. Like I am sitting here in your house looking over the Pacific Ocean. I'm like, oh my God, look what I get to do for a living, right? And I've been to Ruta Lee's house, and you and I both were hanging out with Anson Williams the other day. I mean, these are amazing things. Do you ever just go, how did I get, you're a physical therapist. You're not supposed to have all these amazing experiences. Do you ever just pinch yourself and go, what in the heck? How in the world did this happen?
I usually don't, because it's not about me. It's about getting kids off the streets. And as long as you keep that focus, which we've done for 22 and a half years now, people want to help. It's never been about me. It's always about what we can do to get kids a better life. These kids are throwaway kids. These kids are good kids. They don't want to be on the streets. And they have no idea how to get off the streets. And so once we give them a little hands up, and I want to share with you about a couple of the success stories, because when people look and they say, do they really make a difference with these kids? So this is Justine. Justine, when I met her, she was suicidal. She tried to commit suicide twice. Her mom was an alcoholic. Her mom's boyfriend used to beat her up, drag her by her hair, and when he started taking her clothes off when she was 12 years old, she ran out of the house and she left. And she was on the streets from 12 to 16 years old. Can you imagine a single girl, 12-year-old, a 13, 14-year-old kid on the streets by herself? Terrible. She founded the shelter. We met her. It was the music and art program that started really helping her tremendously, but it was our expressive arts program that really changed her life, because she learned how to make jewelry during our expressive arts program. And she said to herself, I can make money selling these things. And so she did. For 15 years, she literally sold her jewelry. She still does now. And she put herself through City College. She put herself through University of Santa Barbara, and she graduated magna cum laude. And now she is a school graduate of undergrad, but she also graduated law school. She just literally graduated law school, and this is Justine now. You can see with her law diploma and degree and her gown. And, it shows people that with a little help, these kids with hard work can get off the streets, can make something for themselves, can be role models for other youth to follow, because these kids don't think they can do it.
Who's case managing these kids? I mean, that's remarkable, right? And there's so many times where you can take an incredible kid. Look, there's going to be a lot of failure because some people just are never going to quite figure it out. But you can grab some of these kids.
Yes.
But it takes a hard work and professionals to do this. How do you manage that part? How does that look like?
That's a great question. The key to this is the case management. Case management is the key, because the case managers really take their hand and very gently walk them through what processes they need to help themselves. They evaluate them first, find out what their needs are. Do they have a drug addiction? If they do, they have to go to rehab. If they are mentally ill, which some of these kids, almost all these kids, have mental health issues because of the trauma of being on the streets, And so they need some of the medication, sometimes just to talk to a counselor, to do EMDR therapy, which is trauma anger therapy. And so these are the things that we can help these kids. And it's the case managers. We have Nicole and Turquoise are two of our full-time case managers. They're amazing people. They are angels for these youth, and they get them on the other side so they can be self-sufficient and be role models for others.
Yeah. And then one of the things with these kind of programs is the case manager, isn't allowed to fail. The kids are, right? Because they are kids. They have drug problems. They have psychological problems, borderline personalities. You're just never going to defeat that. It's always going to be a series of failures. There's addiction, all these other things. What does that look like as these kids, have to learn that this is going to be a lifelong process. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be easy.
We always tell these kids it's not. You have to work hard. Yeah. Anything in life, you have to work hard. I work hard. You have to work hard to succeed, to get yourself so you can be self-sufficient. But it's the love that we give them, and they know that we're there for them. They can always call us. I have kids calling me still. I just spoke to a kid this week that I saw 9 years ago. Okay, so we're always there for these kids. We're 24/7 coverage. Our case managers and our program director, who is amazing, Joanne Newgard, they're there for these kids, and they're literally 24/7 coverage, so that when they call us at 1 a.m, we pick up the phone. Right. These kids know that we care for them, or else we wouldn't do that.
Right. I'm getting some social mediating done here while we're talking. The case management piece is so crucial. How hard is it to find the right people? How hard is it to develop these people?
Yeah. Well, we are blessed. Both of our case managers have a tremendous amount of experience, and these kids can tell. And the reason that they say that we're different than other organizations they've dealt with, we just interviewed a girl last week. She said because the immediacy that we get it back with them, sometimes it takes 2, 3, 4, 5 days, sometimes a week to get back to them. Within 20, 30, 40 minutes, we get back to them, okay? We get them, if they need food, we get them food. If they need clothes, we get them clothes. If they need a place to stay, we will do everything we can in our power to get them housing, okay? And that's why in the last 2 years alone, we've housed 688 youth. In 3 years, 849 youth we've gotten off the streets into housing.
What's your success rate for so a lot of these programs, and I don't mean to say these programs like it's nothing, but a lot of programs where you're taking homeless people or struggling people off the streets, there's no longitudinal look, right? So they're like, hey, 6 months, we got them off the streets. But 7 months later, some of them are starting to recidivate, right?
Sure. Some of them are always going to fall out.
Right.
You know, you can do the best you can to support them, but they have to do the work themselves. And if they need help, we will give them help. And so we find that a high percentage of our youth stick and are successful because we have appropriate referrals. We have many partners in our community that we work with. We have about 67 partners right now that we work with, and many of them have housing, okay? And so when we call them up and say, you know, Dorothy needs housing, and we give them the appropriate referral, they usually stick, and they, instead of just dropping out from the housing, they stay and they continue with case management. They go to school, they get job training, whatever they need to be self-sufficient. But because we give them appropriate referrals, they usually do well.
Right now, there's people like going, well, all right, Pete, you've convinced me, right? Yeah, and so we want to give people the call to action. Like, what do they do? Like, what's the best way to help? Like, what's the most? Because what people hate is like, I'm going to send a check in. I have no idea what's going to happen.
Sure.
I'm never going to get called back. So, what is the most direct form of help?
And you know, if this touches you, and this is all real stuff. You know, when you see Justine, Tyler, Matthew, all these kids that we work with, this is the real deal. If you're touched, go to doorsofchange.org. Doors is plural. You can make a donation of any amount. It could be $10, it could be $100, whatever you can give. 70% minimum of that money goes directly to fund these kids' programs. You need expenses. There's always expenses for supplies, for administration of the staff. But 70% will go directly to help these kids get off the streets, give them the resources that they need to be successful and sufficient, be self-sufficient in their life. Doorsofchange.org. Now, you can also go to our concert. You can also go to Casey and the Sunshine Band concert on July 27th. And again, this is going to be on our website for sale in April. So go to Doors of Change. You know, in April, you can get tickets in San Diego. We appreciate that. But the biggest thing is do something. If you don't do anything, no matter how touched you are, it doesn't mean a damn thing if you don't take action to make a difference.
I like San Diego. I like Casey the Sunshine Band. I like music. Well, let's all go. Let's go in April. I'll go. Everybody wants to go. Come on, let's go. So I'll do my best to get out to the concert and support in that way. What if someone just like, look, I don't have any money, but I want to help. Same thing, doorsofchange.org.
Doorsofchange.org. You know, they might know someone that has a business that wants to be a sponsor of our concert. You know, everybody knows someone that has businesses, and if they want to help the community, help kids get off the streets, promote their business, their logo will be in many places that we place them. It's a win-win for everybody. But really, we have an angel team, by the way. The California Angels allowed us to trademark the name Angel Team. They've only given it to us, so we're the only ones that have actually given it besides the California Angels because they knew it had to do with just youth homelessness. And for $18 a month or $11 a month, be an angel. Automatic payments on your credit card every month for $11, for $18, for $20, for $30, whatever you want. Be on our angel team. So we'll get money coming in every month from 500 to 1,000, 2,000 people. That will help us so we can actually hire another case manager and help more kids. Right now we're seeing about 100 youth right now in our, that we're dealing with and working with right now. And we need to help more. because there's so many kids out there that with a little help can really break the cycle. And by the way, the transitional age youth from 17 to 25, they're the most underserved of the entire population. However, they are the most successful of breaking the cycle. When you mention about breaking the cycle of all these age groups, they're the most successful of breaking the cycle. Why? They haven't been on the streets that long. They're not so emotionally or mentally ill or have addictions at that level where they can't do it. And so if we can get them and get them off before they're frozen, into the cement, that's how we have helped so many people. We've helped over 2,800 youth get off the streets into safe housing and self-sufficiency.
No, that's great. I mean, that's fantastic. The other thing I wanted to ask about is, a lot of these families struggle. Maybe a parent has an addiction. Maybe they get over it. Do you work to, at all reattach them to families, like when it's appropriate?
That's a great question. We usually do not attach them to the families unless it's safe.
Right.
And most of the time it's not safe.
Yeah.
That's why they're on the streets.
Yeah.
So we don't work with the parents. We work with the kids. We teach the youth how to help themselves. Because again, the reason they're on the streets is because it's dysfunctional so bad. And the parents, because of their addiction, whether it's alcohol, drugs, etc., or mental illness. We cannot help the parents, but we can help the youth.
Right. So the biggest things we've learned right now is loads of kids on the street for the LGBTQ
Yes.
participation, like for them, like it's part of their life. They've got parents that are unable to cope with that for whatever reason it is, lots of reasons. We're trying to get them off the street. These kids are recoverable, and you guys are digging in on that problem. And one of the vehicles you're using is art, and one of the vehicles you're using is music. Where do you want to expand to? I mean, do you want to expand regionally? Do you want to expand into other avenues to create more ways to get kids into your guys' funnel so you can wrap your love in arms?
That's a great question also. Yeah. One of the ways we've expanded locally, and we want to continue to expand locally because we have to help ourselves first. We have to help our community first. And so one of the ways we expand is because a lot of kids sleep in their cars right now. San Diego State University, 10% of the students at San Diego State are homeless. 10%. And they're living in their cars, many of them. And so when a car has an issue, the transmission doesn't work, the battery, it goes kaput because, they're living in their car, they use a lot of their battery. We actually help replace the batteries, we help the transmission repair, we help tires, so that the kids can continue to go to work. If their car isn't working, they can't go to work. So they're going to be, again, homeless and without an income. So that's how we've expanded. We continue to expand on now paying first and last month's rent. And that's an expansion because to pay first and last month's rent, that's a lot of money. But if we don't do that, the kids are not going to be long-term in a house. Okay? They can't come up with the money themselves initially. Yeah. So we are doing that now. And that takes money. And if you see this and if you're touched, whatever you can make a donation, please make a donation. Yeah. I mean, I did this work for 10 years without a dime, okay? And so I'm not in this to make money. I make $30,000 a year right now. That's nothing. That's the pay for some of my bills. I'd rather have the money go to where it needs it the most, where the kids need the services, and to pay for the staff to be able to get them the case management, our program director, so she can orchestrate this whole thing. So we are going to expand first locally because we continue to expand in our outreach. We go on outreach 4 days a week, and we're going to continue to expand in different locations in San Diego. And if people that are seeing this live in a different part of the country and they say, we want to do this, get in touch with me, and for free we'll teach you how to do what we've done. You're going to have to do it in your community. We're not going to do it for you. You're going to have to do it in your community. But we'll show you the roadmap of how to do it.
Yeah. No, that's powerful. The Orange County area is just north of you. Are you looking at trying to get up there? And then obviously LA. I mean, you could spend the rest of your life just trying to master these three counties. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Riverside and San Bernardino, there's millions of people here, right. So there's a lot of problems just locally.
Yeah, and all those areas are within 2 hours of us.
Yeah, Ventura and Santa Barbara, there's a lot of people, millions and millions of people.
Yes, if people are touched by this, come to the concert. Take a stand that this is important to get kids off the streets and come up and say hello to me. Yeah. Say, I heard you on that interview you did, and please come and say hello to me. But the most important thing is you're coming because there's going to be homeless youth there as guests of ours at the concert. And for them to see the community come and say, this is important, we want to help these kids have a better life, that's life-changing for these youth.
Let's talk about a little bit of good news instead of some of this, all this homeless kids and everything else. Like we get that the mission is there and everything else, but what is some of the good that has come out of this? What is some of the good stuff from the music? You know, give us some things to feel good.
Well, some of the great stuff that's come out of it is that Tyler was homeless from 12 to 16 because his mom was a meth addict, and he lived in Imperial Beach. He lived near the Imperial Beach Pier for 4 years. And what came out of it is he was such a good kid. He said to me, you know, I want to be a security guard. Will you pay for my guard card? We paid $400 for his guard card. And he worked up the ladder at Elite Security, which is the #1 security company in San Diego. And he then started working at Petco Park, okay? And he actually became so successful there that he was Employee of the Year. Of all the employees at Petco Park, where the Padres play, he was Employee of the Year. And then from that, he left after several years there, and he joined the AMR security. It's where the ambulance services, AMR, they're, you know, nationally, AMR ambulance. And he's now a supervisor at AMR. So what's come out of it is we've had these youth that we've worked with that are really leaders now. Mm-hmm. And they're leading by example, and they're role models to give others hope. But that's just one example of how, you know, it's made a positive change. You know, we've helped over 10,000 kids get resources.
What's a resource you guys would love to network into that maybe isn't available now? I mean, because there's so many business owners that watch this show where you're like, oh, you know, we'd love to get this kind of resource.
We need more trades. So if kids, you know, want to learn how to do construction, want to learn how to do masonry work, want to learn how to, you know, do mechanical work, want to, you know, how to do all different kind of trades. If you have a business that can learn, you know, teach a kid how to do a trade, we would love to talk to you, because that's just another avenue that these kids, they want to work, they want to succeed, they don't know where to go. So we can funnel them into what you're doing if you can teach them, and, you know, start with minimum wage probably, and at least they can learn a skill. And that would be a blessing to have more outlets of angels to help train these kids in different professions.
Yeah, where do people sign up for the Angel Club? I mean,
go to doorsofchange.org. You can be an Angel team member at doorsofchange.org, and it's again for $11 a month. Most people can afford $11 a month, or $18 a month, or $30 a month. Yeah. But it makes a huge difference, so we can get more funding to get the computers for these kids that are going to college that we give them for free. Yeah. They need phones, okay, for telehealth visits and stuff like that with their psychiatrists and psychologists. We need the community to step forward to help us so we can help these kids more.
If you've got a resource and you're from a company or whatever it is, and you want to reach in and say, hey, you know, like one of my buddies works for, and I'll just put him on the spot. My buddy Mark works for Interstate Batteries, and they're like, hey, we would love to be able to help.
Sure. Have them get in contact. What they do is go to our website of doorsofchange.org, and there's a thing that if you want to contact us, send me an email or whatever, and we'll get in contact with you. Because again, we need more people in the community to say, listen, I can help this, because I see these kids are succeeding. Look at Tyler, look at Justine, and there's many, many others. When you go to the concert, by the way, you'll get a book for free, and it's a 52-page book, and it has all these different stories of the kids' lives and what we do, and pictures of the youth. I mean, it's fantastic. And every year, it's like a 52-page book every year that we do. And, you know, again, it will show them that their donations, what the ripple effect of their donations are doing. You'll see right there. Here's Matthew. Matthew, his father sexually and physically abused him. And he said to the point, if it happened again, I was going to kill my father. So he left the house. And he became so successful, he saved over $20,000 working to put himself through college. Now he has 2 degrees, computer science and engineering. He's making a 6-digit income in Northern California, and he's got a 1-year-old kid now, okay, as a son, that he's a good father. So these are the ripple effects of your help of what it's doing.
Yeah, no, that's powerful. Look, you have covered. You're powerful, you're fast, you get to the point. What else do you want to get into before we wrap this thing up? Because you covered everything. You answered all my questions.
I just want to ask you that if you're touched by this, and we have been able to help because the community is involved. I can't do this alone. We need help. And you know, the sad thing is that most of the time it's money. because if we don't get money, we cannot hire our case managers. We cannot hire our program director. We cannot hire all the staff that's needed to be able to get these kids the services that they need. And so whatever you can donate, we appreciate it. It could be $10. That's great. You're doing something to make a difference. If you have memorabilia that you want to buy, go to the website and buy memorabilia. We've actually been able to sell almost $900,000 in memorabilia over 22 years to fund our program to get kids off the streets. We've got many famous people that have signed things. If you're a celebrity out there and you want to sign something for us, that would be fantastic. So, these are the kind of ways you can help us. If you're a psychologist and want to donate your service and maybe, give therapy to 2 kids a month, whatever. These are the kind of ways you can help. But go to doorsofchange.org and email me if you're interested in helping. Most importantly, make a donation, buy the memorabilia, come to our concert, and together we can get more kids have a life that they can be proud of, that they're not sucking out of the community, but they're adding to the community. And again, they don't want to do this, but they have no choice.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you coming on the show. Let me just say this: if this at all moves you guys, this is a great charity. These guys are legit. I'm going to be doing what I can to help. If you're at all interested, and if you miss a link, if you forget something, hit me up, peterbreakitdownshow.com. I'll direct you to Jeffrey's folks and everything else. This is a good cause. Kids and look, their passion. You can see that. So definitely do that. Reach into them. Anything in closing? One final word for you.
Just thank you so much for your interest, because many people are takers, and to be able to be interested in this, you're a giver. You're a good person, and I just am so appreciative that you're touched by this. And listen, this is the future. These kids are our future. We have a whole generation. 4.2 million kids are homeless in America today. If we don't do something about it, they're going to be the kids that become the adults of 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds. They're never going to get off the streets. And it's going to hurt our society. And it's so much better to get them off the streets and be productive people. And I'm just so appreciative of your interview to get the word out. So thank you so much, Pete.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, let me run these credits. Stand by.
Hey, thanks for watching the show. I really appreciate it. Right here, you can subscribe. Please do that. It makes the show grow. Hit that notification bell so you know which incredible guest is coming up next. Down below is the PayPal link. You can put a small subscription in. That is an enormous help. All that money goes right back into the show. And then right up over here are the next episodes you should listen to, curated by yours truly. Thank you so much.